When do you get your blazing opener back?
We're hoping he arrives tomorrow. He does. So everything's gone well with the birth, and our thoughts are with David and Candice and the family. So it's a lovely time for the family, and our thoughts are with them.
How do you manage him? Does he light week? Sleep wise, is he okay? Is he rested?
Oh no, he'll be okay. He's got 2 kids, so he don't sleep much anyway. I think the one thing with Davy's cricket, he doesn't hit much during a tournament anyway. He does a lot of his volume at the start of a campaign, and he's done that with this campaign. So it's only about making sure he's fresh and ready to go in the game. So we've got a big turnaround, which we've been lucky. It's worked in our favour. So from a cricket point of view, he actually doesn't need to hit any balls.
Is it easy to switch off? Like, it's something you can relate to, I suppose, between switching, personal and professional. Like, is it at the business end of a World Cup? Is that easy to do?
Yeah, it is. I think with the campaign we've got at the moment, the enormity of it, it's not hard to switch off at all. We've got a couple of days which the guys have got around, played a bit of golf, gone to watch a movie, just clear their head a bit. And from David's point of view, it'll be the same. He'll get back up here with the team. We'll assess where he's at. But from a cricket point of view, as I said before, he doesn't hit many balls during a tournament anyway. He'll be ready to go.
SCG drop-in pitch. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a conversation all around the country at the moment, everywhere, isn't it? There's a lot of dropping wickets around the country, and I haven't read too much about it. You'd like to keep the traditions of the SCG, but we're in a modern world. We'll see where it goes.
Do you think, like, if you say it's a modern world, is that almost something you think see every cricket ground unfortunately going that way? Or?
I think as we've seen more over the last few years, that's where the game's going. AFL's obviously a huge game, I haven't really thought too much about whether dropping wickets at the SCG or not, but all I do know is it's happening a lot more and more these days, and the technology available to give the characteristics of keep the characteristics of the SCG are there. So if it happens, I'm sure they'll do the right thing for the game.
I think Cricket New South Wales come out last night and they were pretty scathing, mate. They were saying it's boring cricket, you only need to look at the MCG, yada yada. You don't seem to agree with that so much?
As I said, I haven't seen their comments, and a lot of look at Adelaide Oval. Is that dropping?
Yeah.
Adelaide Oval. That's a wonderful cricket. You see how much I care about this topic at the moment. But I'll give you your 3 minutes of fame. Adelaide Oval is a great cricket wicket. As I said before, technology's come a long way, and if they can keep the characteristics of the game.
Brad, you mentioned you got a long break now, but it's a very short turnaround to the semi-final.
Yeah.
Do you think there might be a rethink on potentially resting one of the fast bowlers, considering a 2-day break before the first semi?
Not really. We've got a lot of work. There's a lot of planning that goes into a World Cup, making sure the guys are peaking at the right time. And the ones you're talking about, Starc and Cummins, it'll be pretty hard to rest them at the moment. They've got a really good rhythm around their game. And these decisions aren't taken lightly, but my gut feel is that it'll be really, really hard to rest them, especially in a massive campaign like the World Cup.
Alex Carey, you're obviously working closely with him. He's been arguably the revelation of the tournament, never mind just for Australia. What is it about his game that's gone to a new level for you at this World Cup?
I think his calmness, to be honest. The way he came into bat the other day at Lord's, were under a lot of pressure, but he seemed in control straight away. The wicket looked a difficult wicket at times to score, but the way Alex composed himself, played calm through the innings, and that just comes from playing more cricket. I think the one thing we know with Alex, he's started behind from a cricket point of view, but from a professional sports point of view, he's been around it his whole life. So what I've noticed, the more cricket he plays, the calmer and the more situations like that become natural for him.
I know he's kind of settled into 7, but I guess maybe after the World Cup, looking forward, is it something where he could potentially bat higher?
Yeah, it's something you got to look at. No, I think you've got the way he plays and the calmness he's shown at the moment. Yeah, he can move up and down the order. We've seen that with opener, but from a keeper's point of view, number 7 can also be a specialist spot. you get to bat in a few different situations where you bat against Lords, like you're coming under pressure, or you've got to accelerate at the start of the innings, and that's also a skill as well. So that's something you've got to weigh up moving forward as well.
Just going back to Davey, I know we were talking about him before. Like, can you just kind of tell us the difference between 2015 and now, like how he's kind of evolved as a player?
I think what we've seen, he's matured as a person. That's one thing for sure. But I think as a cricketer, he's always evolving his game. But he's still that match winner that he was back in 2015. I think what he's doing now, he's batting situations a lot better than he used to. He's got different gears he can use, and we've seen that throughout the tournament. When we needed to accelerate and he got a big 100, then there's been times he's needed to control the innings and bat deeper in the game. So I think one thing, he's starting to understand how to bat better situations.
Did you see Alex playing Test cricket?
Not this series with Tim going so well, but his name's definitely going to come up in the conversation when Tim's retired. He's got the inside run. He's playing one-day cricket. He's handling that at the moment. So I know that's what a big goal of Alex is to play Test cricket, and I can see no reason why not.
Brad,
he can't be competing for that spot when Tim hangs up the gloves.
Sorry, mate. In 2015, obviously, you kept Mitch when he was bowling unreal in that World Cup. Do you think, I know you're not keeping doing now, but is he bowling better now than what he did in the 2015 World Cup?
I'll tell you that if we win. I tell you, one thing I've been impressed with Mitch is the length he's been bowling. We know he's got that unbelievable Yorker, and he can go through a tail and the middle of a game really, really quick. But I think the one thing I've been really impressed with is the way he's using the new ball. He's got that length right, and there's been a lot of work gone into that. And someone coming from that height and with that pace, if they're hitting their right length, you ask a lot of question of the opposition's feet, and I think that's what he's doing at the moment.
Did you see, like, in 2015, and I guess you kept him for a long time at different levels, like, were there just times in his career where he was just on, and he almost couldn't do anything wrong, and that's pretty much where we're at now?
Yeah, I think that's exactly how his career's gone. He's gone through stages in 2015 where no matter what he did, turned to gold, and it looks like he's in one of those patches of form at the moment as well. He's confident. He's done a lot of work leading into the tournament. He was injured leading in, which you never like to see players get injured, but it was probably a good thing. It probably gave him an opportunity to sit back and reset where he was, and he's come back fit and strong, and we're getting the rewards for, dare I say it, being injured for a few months.
on a bigger picture, mate, this World Cup, everyone was talking 350 scores, spinners were going to wreak havoc. It's almost turning out the exact opposite to that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, but I think there are stages, as we've seen, there are 350 scores, but the one thing we spoke about leading into the tournament is making sure you adapt to different wickets. You're playing all over the countryside, and different wickets have different characteristics, like the SCG one, turns. So from that point of view, there's games where you've got to put the foot down and get close to 300 and 350, but there's also games where you've got to assess the conditions and realise, okay, this is a 280, maybe a 250 wicket, and that's enough. And I think the one thing we've done really well from there, we've planned really well. We understand what wickets we can get 300 and ones we have to have a close look at.
Right, where are Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis at for you, form-wise, at the moment?
I think Maxie's in as consistent place as I've seen him in his career. We know exactly what we get with Maxie. He's done it a couple of times in the tournament where he's come out and really accelerated the game on. Stoin, I tell you one thing he's doing a lot of work with Ricky Ponty. And we're seeing some great signs there. We're just, for his own personal point of view, we'd like to see him take that form from the nets out into the middle. So he would like some more runs, but it's nothing to do with effort.
Just going back to what Scotty's kind of asked there around 350 scores, and I mean, if you play England in a semi-final, they haven't been able to adapt in the 3 games they've lost. Is that an advantage if you do play them?
I don't think so. You've got to sum up the wicket. The one thing the English do, they'll understand their wickets as well, but you'll have to adapt. It might be one of those days where we've got to make sure we're on it and push that 350 total, but it also might be the other day where the wicket's taking some spin or holding up a bit, and it's not quite as hard to play that. It's harder to play that free-flowing game. So we'll adapt. It's the one thing I think we've done really well and been really consistent through the tournament, is making sure we're playing the situation. And that's one thing we spoke a lot to our players about. Don't get caught up in all the hype of what might happen in a World Cup. Just play what's in front of you. And they've played some really good eyes-up cricket.
Aaron said on Friday that 2015 was a very aggressive World Cup and this one not so much in terms of the way Australia plays. What differences have you seen? How they curtailed that?
I don't think our style of plays changed that much.
I think more mindset, approach on the field.
What do you mean?
Niggle.
Niggle. I don't think so. I think we're all out there playing a competitive game. I think what you're trying to allude to is a World Cup final, aren't you?
Well, Aaron is. I'm not.
Yeah. So no, I don't think the style has changed. Our guys are playing a really high energy game, as we did in 2015 as well. Read my book, you'll see what happened.
Beautiful. You can't plug your book in a presser.
You've got to read it. You've got to be. If you're going to ask those questions, you've got to read what happened.